Christmas reading recommendations. So I have 4 videos coming. The first 3 are books that are really Christmas reads, and then the last one are books that evoke the Christmas spirit. So I hope that you enjoy these. I'm going to start these in November and trickle them into December, I think. Also, I think I will be doing a very low maintenance, low key Vlogmas over on my Patreon. So if you wanted to see kind of daily updates from me, what I'm baking, what I'm reading with the boys, you could be over on there if you were so inclined. And then I'll also be hosting, we're going to be reading The Moonstone, but we won't be discussing it until January 1st and 2nd. Afternoon discussion on the 1st, evening discussion on the 2nd. And because I'm hosting a Christmas Cozy Things chat where it's like a Christmas Cozy Things show and tell. Everyone comes with 2 items that are cozy and Christmassy that they love, and they tell us about them. And then the other is I just totally drew a blank. We're going to be discussing Marian's Christmas Wish by Carla Kelly. It is a Christmas sweet romance. So I'm very excited for those. And then I also have started hosting bi-weekly reading sprints. So that's kind of like having a reading party with friends. And you all talk about what you're going to be reading. I set a timer, we read, and then we come back and chat about what we read. So very excited to just have some festive fun over on Patreon. So the first book that I want to recommend is Christmas on Mill Street by Joseph Walker. This feels very much like a Christmas story, but a little bit more charming, like a Christmas story. You know how it has that cynical feel to it? I adored this book from start to finish. I'm planning on listening to it again this year with the boys. We loved it. It's full of humor. It's very much like, girls obviously can enjoy this book too, but Peter was just very much struck with the humor. It's narrated by a boy who I think he's supposed to be around 12 and telling you about all the happenings. There's a lot of drama with a sledding journey that happens, and it's very funny. They live in this small town and can't recommend it enough. The next one is The Night Before Christmas by Gogol, which it just blew me away. So it is very supernatural feeling. And if you just go in, don't expect Christmas charm, expect otherworldly and fairy tale in the traditional sense. Unexpected things are going to happen. It's an unusual story, but I think if you go in open-minded, you could really enjoy it. So thank you so much to my friend Irene who recommended that story. I loved it so much. And then the next one are 2 misread, and that is No Holly for Miss Quinn and The Christmas Mouse. So these are 2 very short little Christmas books. This year, I'm going to be reading Village Christmas by Miss Read, which I have never read. They are both set in the village of Fairacre, which I'm currently going through that series with my friends Chelsea and Rainey and Angie. And then it's so fun. We're kind of going back and forth with guest hosts. We have Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves to Read and Janelle from Too Fond of Books. So it's just so fun having this sense of camaraderie going through these books and then chatting with people as they're watching the live shows. So anyhow, Village Christmas is just over 50 pages. And then The Christmas Mouse is around 130 pages. And then No Holly for Miss Quinn is, I think, like maybe 150 pages. So they are these very short books, but let me just show you some of the illustrations, these pen and ink illustrations. Look at that. And The Christmas Mouse is about this family where it's a daughter-in-law who is widowed. Look at this Christmas cake. Who is widowed, and she's living with her mother-in-law, and she has 2 little girls. And kind of the grief that this household holds because her mother-in-law is widowed. So her father-in-law has passed away, and then her husband has passed away. And so there's, a melancholy sort of feel to this Christmas. They feel this grief really. And then kind of some magic happens at Christmas, and just how Christmas can make you believe in humanity again. And then No Holly for Miss Quinn is kind of about this woman who's very much a working woman. She's very driven. And it sounds like a Hallmark movie, right? She works and she doesn't want to celebrate Christmas. And then she goes away to this small town to help out her brother-in-law, who has several children. He has 3 or 4, and his wife is in the hospital, minor surgery. She's okay, but he needs help because he's doing so many Christmas services and all sorts of things. He is a vicar, and so Miss Quinn comes to stay, and I think The Christmas Mouse and No Holly for Miss Quinn are kind of tied for me. I love them both a lot. Okay, then the next one that I want to recommend is Christmas at Thompson Hall by Anthony Trollope. This collection has, let's see here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 stories. I've also read Christmas Day at Kirkby Cottage and The Mistletoe Bough, and I really enjoyed both of those. So I just recommend this collection all around. It's so lovely and full of humor. It is about mistaken identity in Christmas at Thompson Hall, but it's done in such a funny way. And yes, just very kind of hijinks ensue. Can't recommend it enough. And then the next one is The Christmas Hirelings by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. I sing this book's praises every time that, I want to talk about Christmassy things, but it's a sweet Christmas novella that I think is just so good and underrated. And it's about these children who come to stay with this very old curmudgeon and how they melt his frozen cold heart. It has an ending that's tied up with a nice, sweet little bow. So very much recommend that one. And then The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. So I have a confession. Last year was the first time that I ever read this. We had a copy in my home growing up, and I've seen people talk about it over the years, and I think something about the cover, I just thought, I don't know if I'll like that. And then I read it last year finally, and it was so good. I was so glad that I finally read it. So it's very much, very, very humorous. And but I love that it still has, it's very humorous and lighthearted, but still has a bigger lesson in store towards the end of it. And it's just the perfect Christmas story to me then. So definitely recommend The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It's a children's book. You could read it in probably an hour. It would not take you long. Definitely worth your time. It's about these elementary kids, and there's this one very kind of rough around the edges family, and they're going to ruin the Christmas pageant. The other kids just know they're going to ruin it. And it's all about that drama. The next one is Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. I feel this is pretty well known on BookTube, but I would just love to sing its praises as well. It's so charming to see the love through these letters that J.R.R. Tolkien took the time writing like he was Father Christmas to his children. I went ahead and I bought the audiobook. The thing is, it's really nice to have both the audiobook and the physical book. The audiobook is lovely because there are musical interludes between each letter, and it's just so festive feeling. But then the physical book is lovely because it has the beautiful illustrations that he drew. So you will be just in for a treat either way. I think we'll just be doing the audiobook this year. I don't know. But then the next one that I want to recommend is Last Christmas in Paris by Hazel Gaynor. This is one that I read for the first time last year, and I couldn't believe how much I loved it. This is one that is not necessarily like they're not sitting down and having a Christmas dinner together and opening presents, but it's very much about what really matters in life. It's set during World War I, and it's written in epistolary form. So you have, all these different characters, basically 4 main characters are writing these letters back and forth. And you can see sometimes the words are blocked out from the soldiers because they think that's information that shouldn't be given out. And it's over the span of many years that it takes place. But what I love is how kind of the human spirit and resilience that shows through this. But there's enough Christmas in here that I wouldn't read it any other time of year. I'm honestly tempted to reread it again this year, but I don't want the magic to be taken away by overdoing it. So I think I will save it and make myself wait until next year. But I have to say that the audiobook of this is phenomenal because they have a different narrator for each letter writer. And it is just absolutely perfect. And it made this book such a more meaningful listening experience. And then last but not least this is a beautiful book too, so it's easy on the eyes, Noel Streatfeild's Christmas Stories. So if you like Noel Streatfeild, you will enjoy these. I think some people would think these stories are maybe like a little bit too sweet, but I think if you like Noel Streatfeild, you will enjoy them. And what I love too is that there are really fabulous illustrations in here. So yeah, definitely recommend this. And I think it's maybe 7 or 8 stories that are in here, and just either very Christmassy or Christmas is on the periphery. There is another one, I think it's Christmas with the Crystals, which they bound up some Noel Streatfeild stories, and I've heard that book is just a huge ripoff. Like, it's not really Christmassy at all, but this one is definitely Christmassy. So if you want something Christmassy, I recommend this. So that is my first video of Christmas reading recommendations. I hope that you enjoyed it. It was so much fun for me to put these lists together. So on to part 2 in the next video. Thank you as always for watching, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.